My job was to sleep with dogs. The dark side of working in Saudi Arabia. Desperation will always create bad things like this one. Imagine you move into a country thinking that you are going there to make something for yourself and for your family. And you get to that country and they let you sleep with dogs. They let you have sex with dogs. Man is wicked. Human beings are wicked. I think one day God will decide to destroy this whole world. God will not even destroy the whole world. God will decide to wipe out all human beings. Because if truly He's the Almighty, He's the Alpha and the Omega, He is the beginning and the end, then things like this should make Him to decide to do another Sodom and Gomorrah. These things are happening anyway. All these wildfires that are happening in the world, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, are sometimes because God is not happy with the way we are living on this planet. We are either destroying the planet or we are destroying one another. Greed can be financial, can be greed for self. How do you even get to the point that you are employing somebody and having your dog to sleep with them? What do you gain? That is just because you have money and you think you can do whatever you want to do. Reading this thumbnail saying that my job was to sleep with dogs, it's already so disgusting. Seriously. It's already making you hate humanity when you read things like this.
If you think moving abroad can solve all your issues, maybe you should think about it again. Sabina Saidi, a mother of 3 and small business owner, moved to Saudi Arabia.
You should think about it, truly. A mother of 3 and a smart business owner. Most likely somebody have convinced her that she's going to make 3 or 4 times what she's already making in Africa. And also because in Africa, even when you have a business, because of the way that the country is being run by the government, it doesn't really give you that guarantee that you can stay. We are always looking for a way to move. Because in our minds, with the way the countries are being run, we believe that the only way for us to succeed is to move abroad. Because you look around, there are nothing to assure you that the future of your kid is going to be guaranteed. And that is why a lot of people will use all what they have earned in their entire life to pay somebody who says he has a good line, he has a good connection for them to go abroad. And they sell this notion that when you go abroad, you're going to have a job and you're going to make this money in 2 months, 3 months, you're going to make all the money. And then people end up in places like this.
But during her time in Saudi Arabia, she learned being a maid is not always about cleaning the house and making food. Sometimes it can be about sleeping with dogs.
Sleeping with dogs. Can you just try and close your eyes and think of this? How do those people even start to train their dogs. Anyway, dogs do harm people anyway. So you have to actually make, you know what, I need to just listen.
Buttocks and legs, and it scared me. The man laughed a little and then replied, "These dogs also have feelings like humans and have desires too. So it was asking you to sleep with her and have sexual intercourse."
If you believe you have seen a much uglier side of the world and what is happening out there, then you should rethink.
One day they called us, sat us down as a family, and said that no one should talk to the maid nicely. Everyone in the house should speak to me harshly, with pressure, and treat me with contempt. They wanted to break me. They brought me and beat me brutally, slapped me. I don't know if the law allowed them to disrespect and degrade a person like that. But it was happening to me. I was
In Muslim countries, their women are treated almost like second-class citizens. Their women, things are starting to change. Things are starting to change, but especially in Saudi Arabia, where women are supposed to cover up. You see somebody, don't even know who they are. Even if those women are beaten, you will never know because they are always covered up in the, what's it called? The thing they put on their head. I've forgotten the name of that thing. And you can only see their eyes. Their bodies are always covered up from head to toe. So even if they are going through some physical abuse, domestic abuse, you will never know because all you can see is their eyes. So I think what they would always try to do is to avoid touching their eyes because that's all what you can see. And sometimes you need to see somebody's face, all the full facial expression before you can actually tell if they're going through some trauma. But if you can see only the eyes, it will be hard to tell.
Or the bandits to try to kill me, and then they attacked me.
In this video, we will find Sabina's story, who moved to Saudi for work, where her boss told her job was to sleep with dogs. Shocking, right? But this is not only what she went through in Saudi. What exactly happened with Sabina? Why she was moved from one job to another? How did she save herself from the inhumane act that her boss demanded? This is going to be an emotional journey. Whatever you are going
Just imagine the emotional trauma that she's going through now. How can she tell her kid? Has she got a husband?
to learn
A boyfriend?
this video.
How do you even?
Happening to
How do you?
outside. It is going
It's
to be a
horrible. This is horrible.
But let's embrace ourselves to listen to Sabina's story.
When I was sent to a house
Oh.
for work, everything was new. Honestly,
It's definitely going to be painful.
the job for about 2 or 3 weeks. The problem started when I realized that the woman I worked for was living in the house with her husband and many older sons. There were many temptations. Sometimes I would walk in and find them lying down and the husband would start touching me. I was shocked by his action, but I
Where the husband will start touching her
couldn't do anything about
in the
it.
presence of
The
the
law
sons
says that
and the
if you
wife.
fought with someone
Really?
else's husband, they might kill you or send you back home in disgrace. I stubbornly ignored and sometimes denied his
Kill you.
advances.
Yeah, the Sharia
I
law.
could never guess what was going to do next. It was like I was being tested on every possible ground. If you refuse to do what the boss wants, you should prepare for what is to come.
Since you faced such challenges soon after starting the work, how did you manage to stay intact in such a place?
What they normally do is they will take their travel documents, they'll take your passport, and they will even threaten to kill you. Because once you are there, You either do what they want you to do, or you risk escaping. And if you're caught trying to escape, and how do you even escape in a place where you don't have your
The
passport?
men in that
How do you
house
escape in a
tried
place like that?
everything to frustrate me to the core. I used to wake up in the morning and greet my boss, and he would remain silent, as if I was not even there. If I did something good, he would either not address it or address the act with disgust, so that the good I did could lose its essence. He tried to frustrate me, but I was clear about what I wanted and
So, was her boss a Muslim, a Saudi Arabian, or was her boss a foreigner living in Saudi Arabia?
understood how to behave so as not to be fired.
Living in such horror all the time and facing such hatred on regular basis can be mentally exhausting, especially when you have no one to call yours around.
For anyone who doesn't know, this is a typical household in Africa. That is how it is. That's how we clean the house. That's how we sweep. This is just typical of African homes.
The man kept pestering me and I kept refusing him, and this continued for a long time. This continuous harassment was bothering me, but fortunately, one day he finally left me alone. He used to come to my room and touch me, which was very disturbing, but when he didn't show up for a few days, I thought the tough times were over.
Alipunguza nikawa hamna kabisa.
A lot of people are going to ask again, why didn't she leave? How will you leave when you don't have your passport, when you don't have your travel document? How will you leave? That's what happens in many cases. They will take your travel documents from you, and even if you're trying to leave, if you're trying to run, and by the way, how do you even run when you've already invested everything you had? Some people just try to hold on for as long as they can so they can at least make some money before they go back. She was a successful businesswoman. She most likely has invested everything on this trip. So her going back to take it with nothing, no, she will prefer to sacrifice herself to get some money for her family. That is what normally happens.
Son started making advances towards me.
When someone in Saudi
Son is going to take over.
overseas, they seize their passport and
They seize their passport. You see, that's what I was just saying. They seize their passport. And most of the household do not allow the maid to even step out of the house. You are in prison, you're a slave. This is slavery, modern day slavery.
where you are almost trapped around the predators. It was the father before and now his son. How did you manage to stay sane?
Nimejenga urafiki na mtoto wake wa kwanza.
And now the son.
This son and I talked a lot, and he would ask me about home. Our friendship grew.
Oh, so things got easier after that?
Nikalala. Kulala na kuja kushtuka yani nika hivi mkono. Mbona kama nimelala na mtu?
One day, after praying when I got to bed, I felt someone put their arm around me, and I was very shocked. Who was there? I looked and saw it was the boss's son, the only man who was nice to me in that house. I woke him up and asked him, "What's wrong with you? Why are you here in my room at this hour?" I told him to leave. I even told him that if he wouldn't leave, then I would have to scream for help.
Because nianze kumuuliza imekuwaje chumbani kwangu siku saa 8.
He told me he made a mistake and asked for forgiveness.
That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing to do, to scream. Wow.
I tried to make him
Wow.
understand his
I did not
mistake.
expect that he will
I was
apologize.
guiding him
Wow.
as I would have
Okay.
guided my younger brother. We agreed that it wouldn't happen again, but people didn't value their word out there. So the friend I made there turned into a predator.
Do you think all of this end with sexual assault and predation? No, something inhuman happened after the family came to know that Sabina and their son built a relationship over time.
Tukajenga mahusiano fulani hivi sasa, tukawa kama tuko kwenye relationship ya kimahusiano.
We started to develop a relationship. We began living together as people who loved
So they decided to punish her then.
wanted to be together. The family eventually
Oh. So she fell in love with the son and they developed a relationship and wanted to be together. That is going to be strange. That one is strange.
Mzazi mwingine unamwita mfanya kazi saa akaja kufanya kazi, hakuna mtu ile.
One day they called us, sat
I don't think that will be allowed.
and said that no one should talk to the maid nicely, and told everyone in the house should speak to me harshly with pressure and treat me with contempt. They wanted to break me. They brought me and beat me brutally, slapped me. I don't know if the law allows them to disrespect and degrade a person like that.
Akanitandika makofi, mabao.
These men beat me, called bandits to try to kill me, and then they attacked me. The violence reached a point where I had to find a way to defend myself or they would have killed me.
Whoa. This is some crazy shit, to be honest. This is crazy. So what did the son do now? You have developed a relationship with the girl and the girl is being treated that way. What did he do? I'm kind of interested in what he did.
I was deeply saddened.
Kidogo nikaingiwa na hofu ile sasa, ibidi mimi nijitetee kumwambia kwa siku.
What a tragedy. Being attacked like that without even knowing why these people hate you to this extent can break anyone. She could see these people can even kill her.
Ina family.
I had left my family in Tanzania.
Seriously.
I didn't want to bring misfortune upon them by dying in a foreign country. When I told the son to leave my room the following night, he slapped me unexpectedly and I was shocked. I couldn't cry.
It's a bit of confusion now. I thought she said she developed a relationship with the son and they wanted to be together. So, or is the story going back and forward, or I'm a bit confused now?
Doing this takes courage, especially in a surrounding where, even if you do everything by the book, they can harm you.
Kila nipelekea niseme.
With each passing day, the family's hate against me reached a point where he asked to be transferred to another job, thinking that maybe my problem would decline by doing so.
Sounds like a gutsy thing to do, but it was a gamble because you never know what awaits you. But I guess this was the only way to escape your surrounding death.
Wakaingia mle ndani.
What awaits you?
I had left behind were a relative of the new place's owners. The household I worked for and its people had arrived at my new workplace before me and had already prepared my downfall before I got there. They bad-mouthed me to the extent that no one in my new workplace wanted to see me around.
Nikaenda zangu pale.
I went there not knowing where I was going, only wanting to leave the previous house. I did the cleaning and my usual work, and the next day, the boss called me and said, "Sabina, come here. I need to talk to you." I went and sat down, and she told me, "We need to move you from here because of what we heard you did at your previous job."
Oh, no, this would have broken her heart. Her previous owners who wanted to kill her here ruined her chance to have better and calm time in Saudi.
Nilikuwa nasubiri mimi nifike.
I was disheartened, but I couldn't do anything about the situation. I just asked them to please shift to a better place. I was not ready to experience anything again that I experienced in my previous workplace. she reassured me that she would definitely help me. She told me to do my cleaning work well, wash my clothes, and prepare to leave the next morning.
Seems like a nice lady, but the good thing is Sabina was not transferred back to her previous owner's house.
Nakuhitaji chumbani. Hapo mama.
So she's now being moved to the third place.
When I arrived at
And I think the third place is where things are going to just go worse.
The bedroom was also very nice, and I moved in without any problems. When I got there, they gave me a week to rest before starting work because there was
Seems like a fantastic opportunity. Nice room, and they give you 1 week to rest. It's promising. But I guess things are not going to be as promising as
another female worker.
it has just started. It's going to be worse.
I spent the whole week eating and doing nothing.
That must have been a massive house.
Then I heard that the female worker had been transferred to another job and the male worker was leaving the next day.
After facing extreme situation in her last place of work, Sabina would have felt relaxed after a good break. Finally, someone was treating her like human. Were these people really treating her like human?
They were just preparing her for what was to happen. They were just like, keep her cool, the calm before the storm, as we say in the UK.
He called me into his room and I went since my lady boss wasn't there. When I arrived, he asked me, "Do you know the job you came here to do?" I said no. He asked again in shock, "You don't know your job?" I replied that the job I usually do is household work, cleaning, washing clothes, cooking, and other similar tasks.
Isn't it clear that maid is supposed to do cleaning? And if someone will ask the employee if they know about their job role, clearly it will make them doubt if they are supposed to do something more than their natural chores.
He started showing me
how is he going to even break the job specification to her? How is he going to tell her that your job is to satisfy my dogs? The job is to sleep with my
ducks, pigeons,
with the canine.
Finally,
how is he going to say that?
The dog house, which was designed like a house for humans. We entered and I saw 4 dogs. He then told me, "So, I brought you here to sleep with these dogs." When he told
What? Wait, when they say sleep with the dogs, maybe it's take care of the dogs. Might be that way. Like he's got 4 dogs. The dog house is like a house for humans. But it's not
job was to sleep
like that. It's actually have sex with the dogs. Of course, nobody's mind will actually get that fully. When somebody says your job is to sleep with the dogs, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of the dogs, yeah? Give them food, take them for dog walk," like dog walking. Like people, like when they say dog walking, somebody is babysitting my dog. That might have been what everybody will be thinking. And that would be like, okay, good job, okay.
In what way? He replied, "You will feed them, clean them, and take care of them." Without much thought, I quickly agreed because I thought the job was very easy. It was simply taking care of dogs. That's what I thought.
Sleep with dogs. Isn't it spooky phrase to hear?
The first week, I found the job very easy, and the dogs were not troublesome. They were very clean and behaved like humans. However, I didn't sleep in the
Yeah,
dog
it should be
house
an easy
as
job.
intended, but rather on the porch of the dog house. I would wake up, clean them, and then go to the main house because the animals were kept in the small house.
Seems like an easy task and comfortable job. I guess that would have been breezy time.
After a few days, something strange happened. The dog started seeking to sleep with me or engage in sexual activities.
What? Dogs showing sexual desires for a human?
Ibidi mimi nimuulize, nipe ishara ya mbwa.
Clearly, that is what the other maids were doing because the dogs, they know what they need to do with a woman. So, the other female worker who left, that must have been what she was doing, and she was okay with that.
I want to talk to you about. He asked, "What is the problem?" I told him, "The dogs have started bothering me. One came and started licking my buttocks and legs, and it scared me."
Akanambiaje? Unakumbuka nilivyokuambia kuwa unataka ulale na mbwa?
The man laughed a little and then replied, "These dogs also have feelings like human and have desires too. So, it was asking you to sleep with it and have sexual intercourse." I was shocked and
What? How do you? Yo, this is some crazy shit.
with the dog.
This is
Even
wild.
doing such an act was even
This is wild.
He reminded me, "Do you remember when I told you your job was to sleep with the dogs?" I said yes, and he clarified, "I wasn't just talking about sleeping with them, but also having sex." I was terrified. He said all this with a straight face, as if it was natural.
Akasema yani mbwa wote unalala nao. Unaanza na mmoja.
Yo, can you even imagine? Can a dog get a human pregnant? If the dogs are going to be sleeping with her and coming in her,
I
can
asked,
she get pregnant?
"How
I don't
can
know.
a person sleep
Can
with
she?
a dog? Besides,
Whoa.
I saw they are all mares. Does that mean I will have sex with all four of them?" He replied, "Yes, you will start with the one that touched you, and then the others will follow."
Oh God.
Whoa.
How these men cannot ask for Sabina's consent for such a natural job? How come no one told this woman what she was ready?
Damn. How do you even ask for consent for something like that? How do you ask a fellow human being for consent for your animals, for your dogs to have sex with them? How? That's what I said. One day God will decide to wipe out every human being in this world and bring new ones.
No one can imagine the fear this woman would have gone through in this
God.
situation.
Kusema kweli nilishtuka kwa sikumjibu, bibi kwanza nikae na jinania hivi chini.
I was speechless and bowed my head, wondering where I could report him. I thought about going to the neighbors to report him. I sat for about an hour thinking about the answer to give him.
I couldn't even imagine what sort of thought would have run through her brain at that time. She was sitting in front of the man who wanted her to sleep with dogs.
Oh my God.
And found nothing wrong in demanding this.
With dogs. Not one, four of them.
Time to think about my escape from here. Till then, I had to stay in their good books, so I asked him, "When should I do these things with the dogs? Anytime?" He said, "Yes, anytime." After a while, I told him, "Please give me 2 days to think about it. This is new for me.
Whoa.
I want to get comfortable about the situation first." He agreed.
Very smart way to borrow some time.
Yani kama napiga tekniki ya kutoka
The
moja.
days I asked
So this clearly shows that the previous female worker was sleeping with the dogs. Imagine what our African women are going through in these Muslim countries. They treat them like animals. And all of these agents, all of these so-called agents who are taking money from our African sisters and sending them to these countries, they know what is happening. They know what is happening. They know what these women are going through. Yet, they still advertise their services. They still take large sums of money. By the time these ladies get back to Africa, they are all destroyed. It's not only acts like this, which are inhumane, but they are being tortured. They are being sexually assaulted by animals, by men. Any man can do. They are treated like slaves, like properties. God will one day wipe out all this war.
I
One
approached
day.
him and said, I can't decide to sleep with the dogs. I can't do it. I told him, I'm not feeling well. I'm on my period. Give me another 2 weeks to recover. He told me, no problem. Go and get well fast. I was indeed on my period, but asking for 2 weeks wasn't because it would take that long, but because I needed time to figure out how to escape.
Indeed, the smart way to avoid the situation, but what next?
Ya wiki ya kwanza ulopiga
In this way,
Whoa.
I had familiarized myself with the neighborhood. One day, my boss called me and said, I am leaving, but don't open the door for anyone except us when we return. I agree.
nilifanikiwa kupaki mabegi yangu.
That day, after he left, I packed my belongings, not knowing he had left people to
That was our opportunity.
I was about to leave when 2 guards caught me, took me back inside and locked me in a room with bad smell and no air. Breathing was difficult in that room.
Oh, when a maid is caught escaping in Saudi, the owners can do really inhuman things to them and even kill them sometimes.
Kama mmeo alinitafutia watu kama nataka kutoroka, alinipiga.
The man returned at 8 in the evening. He came and found me in the locked room, and when he opened it, he beat me brutally, causing wounds and making me bleed. After beating me badly, he told me, "This is your first and last warning. Don't try to repeat this mistake." I begged for forgiveness to save my life. He forgave me and let me out. He had some humanity. He didn't take me to the dog room, but to the room I had been sleeping in since I arrived. I stayed there.
Yo, this is crazy. And stories like this happen so many times. Stories like this are happening every day in Saudi Arabia. And it's always women that go through these really, really bad
There for a week.
conditions.
Snatching a human's freedom is the worst humiliation a human
This
can
is-
face.
This is somebody's mom. This is somebody's daughter.
In my heart, I decided I would not stay there, but I promised him I wouldn't think of escaping again and would do everything he asked, because that was the smart thing to do in that situation.
Wow, after facing all the challenges, a person maintaining such willpower, immense respect.
Nikamwambia baba, mimi hapa nimepona.
When I healed, I told him I was ready to work with the dogs as he had asked.
She was not really up for the job. It was just a way for her to gain their
Wow.
trust back.
Nilichokifanya mimi nikatoa mizigo yangu yote, nikaenda kupaki nje. Kwanza kabla sijatoka mwendani kuna kamera nje.
One night, I talked with his wife around 5 in the evening. Post that, I packed all my belongings, but cameras were monitoring my action while going inside and outside the house. However, I luckily packed my luggage and transported them out of the house.
Asubuhi kumekucha, kaambia baba, vitu vya kupika vimeisha.
The next morning, I told him, "Papa, we are out of cooking supplies." He asked if I knew where to buy them. I said, "Yes, I know." He gave me money, and I went to where I had hidden my bags. I went to the authority and told them everything that had happened, including the house I lived in and his name. He couldn't believe I could do that.
Her courage and her presence of mind was remarkable in this tense situation, and that courage she exercised after all the humiliation.
This is just a lucky one. This is just one lucky girl, because a lot of times most girls will be scared to even deny to do what the masters ask of them. Some will be scared that they will be killed. Some will be thinking of, what if I don't? All the monies that I've spent, my passport is with them. What will I do? And they will end up sleeping with animals. Imagine being asked to sleep with not one, 4
and inhuman
dogs.
behavior she
4.
experienced on that land could not even.
No.
Moja kwa moja nikaongoza mpaka ubalozini.
The authority helped me buy a ticket to return home, which I am grateful for. They gave me 2 million Tanzanian shillings, my passport, and I flew back home to Tanzania. My family welcomed me warmly, not knowing what I had been through. They saw me alive, and my children were happy to see me.
I guess her kids and people who were waiting for her behind kept her strong through all this while.
She's just one lucky woman.
Akanipambania niende.
My journey in Saudi Arabia began.
She's got a back. She's got a back. She's got a firm backyard.
She advised on documents and tests and helped with the process for 70,000 shillings. She helped fill in all the necessary detail, but she forgot to tell me the reality of life on the other side.
They will never tell you the reality of life. If they tell you, you won't go. So the trip. This was a trip to hell and back. She spent 70,000 shillings and the authority gave her 2 million Tanzanian shillings. And for how long was she there? How many years? How many months? But psychologically, the trauma. She's one lucky woman, to be honest. She's lucky. Nothing really can compare with that joy that you see your kids grow, spend time with your kids. Sometimes money is good. Money is good. But the time you spend with your own children, there's no amount of money can buy that time. Because on the last days, your last minute, your last seconds, when you're leaving this world, all you want to see, not the amount of money, you don't want to even see your bank account. What are you going to do with the bank account? You don't even want to see the Bugatti that is parked outside. You don't even want to see the private jet that you've got parked in a tarmac somewhere of an airport. All you want to see are the people that matter most to you. All you want to see are your kids. Because that is the last picture that any person who has kids would want to see before they leave this world. Not your Bugatti, not your bank account, not your massive mansion, not all your Gucci's, nothing of that. You will just want to see your loved ones, your children. So her being back in Africa, seeing her children grow, spending time with their children, that is fantastic. She was a successful businesswoman and definitely she's going to bounce back. But definitely she's got a backside that, seriously, imagine that backside. You can even see the backside because she's wearing that loosely fitted robe. Imagine that backside in a tight tight trousers. So I see why those people were trying to get some of it. But, our girls from Africa going to this Arab country, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, what they go through is horrible. But the way Africa is being run by our government, they force us to take this risk. They force our girls to take all this risk. Some of our African countries, we've got all the mineral resources. We've got everything to make the country the best place in this planet. But just because only a few are benefiting from resources that is in the whole country, people are being forced. People risk their life on foot, cross the ocean, cross the sea, just to get to a place where they can at least make something to support their families. And sometimes they end up in places like this one, and they are forced to do things like this. Wow. Anyway, people, it's Sunday. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Sunday, spending time with your family. And if you are in a country where you can do what I'm doing, count yourself lucky. Count yourself lucky. And if you think that life is harsh, watch videos like this one. If you think that it's because a lot of us are in a much more better place. All we need to do is work a little bit harder, and we'll make things happen for ourselves. But we just complain. Things are hard. I'm stressed. When I see somebody says they're stressed, it always, why are you stressed? Because of your work? You can change your work. You have the free will. You can do whatever you want. You're not being forced to do what you're doing. You're stressed. You have a car. You can drive to work. You have warm water. You have everything that you need. You have a family. You have kids, and you are stressed. You are stressed. Really? Swap a place with a child in Gaza, and then tell that child, "Oh, I'm stressed. I've got a BMW parked outside, but I'm stressed. I'm in a house where it's warm, lights everywhere, clean water, food in the fridge, money in my account, and I'm stressed." If you're stressed, deal with it. Stop complaining. Stop telling people to understand with your stress. I am always stressed too, but nobody is going to deal with my stress. Me, I have to deal with my stress. If I want to be stressed and accept that I'm stressed and remain stressed, then I need to move forward. Anyway, people, let's keep these videos going. I know some people keep watching my videos, but they are not doing anything like liking my videos or subscribing to my channel. But this time around, you guys are going to do it. It's my time to shine. And I'm going to shine because I'm not going to stop. Remember the saying? If you're in a barber shop and it's full, but if you hang on a little bit longer, you will get your head cut. Not your head cut. You'll get your hair cut. So you just have to be patient. Be patient, and things will happen. See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and comment on the comment section below if you know anybody who has been to Saudi Arabia and back. Did they have any stories like this one? Let me know. Africans, ladies, think twice before you take that journey, especially if you're going to these Arab countries, because the way they treat us, especially us blacks, is horrible. See you guys on the next one. Peace.